is here.
This is the main event, Mark's Podcast, bonus edition, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Network and the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad, Troy. And with me, as always, is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Flying Brian to my stunning Steve. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Go Bengals, I guess.
Eat me for that one, starting right off.
Oh, he's a Bengal, is he not?
I know, he's a proud Bengal.
That's what it was. That's what it was cool to be a Bengals fan.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to walk around with your head held down in shame.
Yeah, we got Chris Collinsworth. Yeah. Said no one ever.
Well, hey, when they were in Cincinnati for AEW, that is, pronouns, pal. God dang it. But Flying Brian Jr. wore a Bengals jersey. Did he wear his dad's jersey to the ring? I
think it was his dad's. Yeah, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was his dad's.
Okay, I was too far away. I couldn't.
If it wasn't his dad's, it was Joe Burrow's. One of the two, I guarantee it.
Yeah. And his theme song, is it just me or does it sound like a dime store version of Welcome to the Jungle?
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah, it's like because I had told the story on the podcast before about how a friend of mine and I went to Dynamite and Rampage when they were in Cincinnati, and the sound system at the UC Arena just sucks. And so I couldn't hear very well. And I'm listening, and I look over at my friend, I'm like, Welcome to the Jungle? I was like, I know that Tony Khan did not pay for Welcome to the Jungle, but it sounds like
I don't even think he could afford Axl's prices.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, if he's bulking at Europe, with their price tag on Final Countdown, no way in hell he's paying Axl Rose. But, yeah.
Axl Rose might literally show up and strangle him. That man does not do AF.
Yeah, with his big chubby fingers now. But anyway, bringing it fully around, man. Today it is a bonus edition. We are going back to 1996. It is, a very famous Raw, not necessarily for what's going on in the ring, but a certain story that's going on through the entire night. It is the Pillman's Got a Gun episode from November of 96.
He's got a gun.
This episode, man, we'll get into it. I don't want.
We get sued too.
Good. You can use just a little bit before you get sued. Kind of like in Wayne's World, where he cuts him off after a couple chords. He's like, hey, no stairway.
Dude, they got so much trouble for even showing that. If you go back and watch it like on TV now, they clearly cut out To Heaven. It just says no stairway.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's cut on all Blu-rays and all streaming, and when it airs on TV, it's just gone. It just says no stairway.
We just made a joke about how Axl Rose is with his property. It's like, man, freaking Led Zeppelin is on a new level.
Led Zeppelin is like, God, we're talking like right below Disney if you try to use Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
man,
right.
They will kill you.
Yeah,
I've always joked that like if you try to steal Mario, Nintendo will try to take your soul, but if you try to use the mouse, Disney will take your head.
Yeah, right. Yep, it's one of them IPs that just cannot be touched no matter what, and it defies all legal grounds, but it happened. But something else that defies legal grounds is how we'll talk about it, but how a man breaks into another man's property, gets shot at, and there are 0 arrests on this show. Spoiler, but nobody gets arrested on this one. So,
well, let's see. Second Amendment, freedom of speech. There's a bunch of loopholes.
Yeah, but I think, unless Pillman was just like, I'm not pressing charges. It was like, he tried to break into your house and physically assault you and your wife. You're cool with that? It's like, yeah, I shot at him. We're square now. So
we'll get into this too, but Kevin Kelly, I gotta admit, helps make this whole thing. And again, we'll get into that. But man,
as a kid,
he's an unsung hero of this whole thing.
Oh yeah, as a kid, I didn't give a crap about Kevin Kelly. As an adult, I have a new appreciation for him. Not a ton of what he did in WWE, but I love his commentary in New Japan.
Well, if you don't like him, please die.
Yeah, right. A certain Uncle Dave said that. Speaking of
I
Uncle
still have
Dave.
that shot I like to send out to his marks every so often.
Yeah, right.
And just remember, this is the guy you follow who said this. He told people to go die if they didn't like somebody that he likes. There you go.
And that's a good segue, going into our daily plugs here, because we have a new design on our merchandise on our bonfire store. It's hashtag plans changed. So go check
As per
that
usual,
out.
they do.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's never wrong. Plans just changed. All right. They changed it to make him look bad. Okay. Always remember that. We're about to head into our first break, but let's take a quick time out here to let you know that Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com, and our link is down in the podcast description. Just let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Network sent you. We're also sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. They are clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins, and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENTMARKS, that's all one word, for 15% off your order. Also, check out the latest and greatest Main Event Marks swag. We are deep into the holiday season at this point, so get your holiday shopping done now and give the gift of retro wrestling at maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/maineventmarks, all one word. Bonfire has the latest updated stuff from the show, designs and whatnot, whereas Redbubble has a bit more variety on it if you want, like, coasters or clocks or stickers or something. Bonfire has great clothing items, whether it be tank tops, baseball shirts, T-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, whatever. You can get that at our Bonfire store. You can get holiday-themed ones for Thanksgiving, for Christmas or Hanukkah, or if you just want something from the show, be it something we frequently say, or, a logo that's significant to the show in some way, shape, or form, go check that out. Also, follow us on social media, as always. Twitter is at @mainevent_marks. Instagram is at @mainevent_marks, and Main Event Collector. And on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/maineventmarkspod. I think that plugs all the holes and gets everything out of the way. So I think we're going to take our first break of the podcast. When we come back from this, we're going to dive headfirst into the news and notes from early November of 1996, right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/maineventmarkspod, on Twitter at mainevent_marks, and on Instagram at mainevent_marks and at maineventcollector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. And we are back.
We're back.
We're going to take a quick time out right before we dive into the news and notes to remind you to follow us on all forms of social media. On Twitter, it's at mainevent_marks. On Instagram, it's at mainevent_marks and at maineventcollector. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/maineventmarkspod. And don't forget to do your holiday shopping at our Redbubble store. It's maineventmarks.redbubble.com, and our Bonfire store with the latest and greatest designs. That's bonfire.com/store/maineventmarks. Let's dive headfirst here into the news and notes first story here, like I said, some of these are kind of while Halloween, the week of and the week after Halloween Havoc, 1996. If you want a good companion piece, go listen to that now in the archives. We did that a few weeks ago. But first story here, Roddy Piper agreed to a deal with WCW and made a surprise debut at the end of Halloween Havoc. He came out and cut a meandering promo on Hogan that ended up being cut off on pay-per-view because they ran out of the 3-hour time window that they had for the show. So Halloween Havoc just went off the air with Piper still talking.
And yes, that is a thing.
Yep. Why is it Hogan always got stuck in the ring with people who just meandered in their damn promos in WCW? It was him, Warrior, like, yeah. And credit to Hogan. You can, I guess. Well, I mean, in credit to him, if you go back and watch, like we talked about this on the podcast, he's trying to keep this on the rails, and he keeps trying to bring Piper back. It's like, hey, over here, buddy. But Piper's like, no, I'm going to talk about what happened in 1977 when I got stabbed in the ass. And I love Piper, but good Lord. Staying on the double.
Gotta draw money.
Yeah, gotta draw blood from a stab in the ass.
I like that. Anyway. When Flair told that, Piper's like, gotta draw money. He goes, Roddy, we're here for one day. The show's completely sold out. I don't care. I gotta draw money.
I love Piper, man. He was on a different level of nuts, and I loved it. But staying with the WCW stuff here, Hulk Hogan signed a new 3-year deal with WCW just 4 days before Halloween Havoc. Hogan had a 5-year offer from the WWF on the table that he turned down. WWF had hoped to bring back both Hogan and Randy Savage at about the same time and have them resume their WCW feud in WWF. But with Hogan deciding to stay with WCW, it kind of hurt Savage's bargaining power with WWF. So right now, no one knows where he'll end up.
He'll be back very soon and join the NWO.
Yeah. I was at madness. Which one was that? Super Brawl?
Super Brawl 97.
Oh, okay. 90. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Cause I'm sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up because Super Brawl 98 was Sting and Hogan.
Was there too?
I believe now in the archives. Super Brawl 98. We covered that one, right? Pretty sure earlier this year.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So listen to Greg now in the archives. Yeah, Super Brawl 8. Anyway, yeah, so Hogan was supposedly, if you believe all the rumors, Hogan's deal included they were going to bring him back, have him turn heel, winning the Rumble, and become the WWF champion and be a heel over there. And then Savage would come back as a babyface, and they would feud, similar to the way they were in WCW. I don't know. That could have been fun, but I like the NWO stuff continuing. And man, wouldn't that have killed Sting dead in the water? Like, who the hell would he go after? I guess the Outsiders, but not as cool as when he went after Hogan.
You can count the NWO in that too, though. Like being dead in the water.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like they're there, but I don't know. Gene Okerlund still hasn't returned because his contract negotiations with WCW aren't finalized yet. They offered him $180,000 per year to work 5 dates per month, 1 pay-per-view, and 4 nitros, but apparently no hotline duties. Okerlund hasn't agreed to the terms just yet. Why no hotline duties? From what I heard, that was like a huge moneymaker for both him and the company.
Scheme Gene ran his course.
I don't think that happened, though. Didn't he continue on with the hotline for years after this?
I remember always seeing him plugging it, but I don't know about success-wise.
Yeah, so... And WWF had their own hotline at this time, ran by Jim Ross, so they both made a decent amount of money at it. I don't know how much WWF made at it. I know Bischoff has openly talked about that WCW's just got a lot of money and made Mean Gene a lot. So he said that supplemented his income because that was on top of whatever his contract was for. Like you said, man, $180,000 per year. I mean, yeah, what the hell? They're lowballing him. A man's got to eat.
I love
Anyway.
that. Like his job was to stand there with a microphone. I'm not crapping on it. I loved him, but $180,000 to stand there with a microphone in your hand. Can you sign me up?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, and he didn't even have to, like, I mean, yeah, there is some perfecting your on-air voice and whatever, but at the same time, and he was quick on his feet, which takes a while, but at the same time, it's like, it's not like he cultivated that voice. God gave it to him.
I'm sure he tweaked it himself, but
yeah, I mean, there's little tweaks, but at the same time, it's like, man, you just all right. Monday Night Raw's start time.
it works out. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
Clearly.
right. Monday Night Raw's start time will be moving up 1 hour. The decision was made by the USA Network fairly abruptly and didn't give WWF much time to promote the time change. So it's probably going to take a couple of weeks before the normal Raw audience gets familiar with the new time change. WCW Nitro has been starting an hour ahead of Raw for a while now, and it gives WCW a strong head start on hooking viewers, so they stick around for the second hour. So this move means that Raw will be going head-to-head with Nitro's first hour instead of its second hour. So this also helps WWF to avoid having to go up against Monday Night Football. I mean, none of this would last very long.
I don't remember ever happening, honestly. I always remember Raw starting at 9.
Apparently it did, because they talk about it on this Raw that we're about to watch. They mention it a couple times. That they talk about, new start time and blah, blah, blah. So
Must have missed that.
Yeah, maybe they tried it and it didn't work because, yeah, I don't
or they did it and USA is like, oh, we can't have this on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
as
I
you
remember,
will see within what we're about to cover. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember when they switched to 2 hours exactly, but I remember.
Oh, it was 1997. I know that.
Okay. Yeah, because by the time I started watching in the fall of 97, they were 2 hours, and they always started at 9. And as a kid, I could only watch the first hour of Raw before I had to go to bed, and then I had to record the second hour on my VHS tape and then watch it after school the next day.
How did you just say?
I know, all of you out there, that you'll never know the struggle. For you, is there a West Coast version of USA, or did it come on at the same time?
No, I got to watch Nitro early though because they always showed Nitro at 5 o'clock here.
Huh.
So for me, I didn't have to switch back and forth ever.
Ah, okay. So
I mean, I could because Nitro was replaying as Raw was airing here, but I saw Nitro live at 5 p.m. here.
So did Raw start 9 p.m. Pacific time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. So so that was a West Coast version, yeah. Because otherwise it would have aired for you at 6.
Right.
I don't get how those time zone things work, man.
I never got it. I'm still baffled.
Right. WWF road agent Chief J Strongbow was found slumped over, sitting in a chair backstage at the Raw tapings, and they feared a heart attack. Turns out that it was an 80% blockage of an artery. He was hospitalized, but since has been released.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. For anybody that doesn't know, Chief J Strongbow is not a legit Native American. He is his real name is like Joe Scarpa, I think, and he's Italian.
How you doing?
Apparently, the reason he became Chief J Strongbow was because he. By the way, he passed away in 2012. He was 83. So that's a pretty long life for a professional wrestler.
Well, they didn't mess around with anything.
Yeah, right. But he was made Chief J Strongbow because I guess Vince McMahon wanted Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo never came to WWF or stuck around, whatever. So he was like, well, I'll make my own Indian, damn it. So
we need indigenous.
Yeah. So he put a headdress on an Italian, was like, close enough. And hey, he was over big time in New York, man. So good for him. It's funny. Bruce Pritchard always makes jokes about that. That he was like, yeah, the fake Indian J Strongbow.
Fake Indian. Well, I don't know why that got me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because Conrad asked him. He was like, he asked him what his opinion on Wahoo McDaniel was, and he said, greatest Native American wrestler of all time. He's like, would you say that to Chief J Strongbow and Tatanka? He's like, I said it to Jerry Briscoe. If anybody doesn't know, the Briscoes are actually like legit Native American, which you wouldn't have guessed. You thought they were just Southern white, but nope.
I sometimes looked at Gerald and thought he was like maybe some kind of Hispanic.
Yeah, apparently he's Native, like full-blooded Native American, as far as I know, but at least half. Anyway, both Barry Windham and Vader suffered broken feet this week. Oddly specific for both of them.
Random?
Yeah, right. Windham broke his in a match, no word on how. Vader broke his while taping a fake match for the Boy Meets World episode he's in. He still worked the pay-per-view match against Sid with a broken foot, but missed a few shows after.
Remember that episode?
Yeah. For those who don't know, he was Frankie's dad.
Yeah, he was Big Frankie, and Frankie, of course, it was Little Frankie.
Yeah. And Little Frankie was damn near as big as Big Frankie.
Not anymore, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing now.
Oh, yeah, he dropped a ton of weight. I was like, wow. Hey, you can see it, like, yeah, right. Because by the time you see him in, like, My Name is Earl, he had dropped quite a bit of weight there, and he's dropped even more since then. Like, good grief, man. You don't even look like the same dude.
Got a six-pack now. That's a true story.
Wow, really?
Look on his Instagram.
Good for him. On Livewire a few weeks back, when Ahmed Johnson was guest hosting, a, quote, caller called in and said that he was black and asked about racism in the WWF. Ahmed Johnson told the caller that there isn't any racism in the WWF. It turns out that quote-unquote black caller was actually Kevin Dunn.
Wow.
Yeah, because if there's one person you're going to mistake for being black when he talks, it might be Kevin Dunn. Good grief, man. Not to get off too much here. Did you hear he's back in the headlines again after John Moxley's book came out?
Yeah, but, I don't take anything he said seriously right now. I'm sorry. It's a personal thing for me. I don't like alcohol, so I'm not going to believe what he says until someone confirms it.
My thing with it, I just like anybody who's ever dealt with Kevin Dunn, it seems like doesn't like him, except for like if you're a backstage personality, some of the like, work with him, some of them like him.
You clearly never listen to Austin's podcast.
Stone Cold likes him?
Loves him.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Austin loves well, not everybody, but I mean, they get to that one, he was like, oh, I love Jim Cornette. It's like, what? Who the hell says that? But, all right. Hey, man, maybe, since Austin dropped alcohol and everything in his older age, maybe he's become more loving. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens with Moxley, actually.
Yeah, maybe he'll stop, trying to mutilate his body in stupid death matches, but, we'll see. Too Cold Scorpio's gone from ECW and headed to the WWF. No word on what his name will be yet, but his gimmick is a babyface pimp character similar to Huggy Bear from the 1970s show Starsky and Hutch. Wow.
It'll actually work out pretty decently for a minute.
How long was he there? I don't... Was it a year or two?
He debuts at Survivor Series 96.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's there at least until July of 1998.
Maybe I'm misremembering this. Wasn't he in the Brawl for All, or he was at least wrestling?
Yeah,
okay.
He was.
Okay. Yeah, so he was there for a while.
JR says, that Flash Funk, he's some kind of guy, man. He looks a little too cold, if you ask me.
Good Lord. Wow. The story Jim Cornette tells about him is he was like, I guess they were at a show, or they were at a taping one time, and Jim Johnson hadn't finished his theme yet. And they're like, what the hell is he going to come out to? And Cornette was like, hold on, I got something. He went out in his car, and he got his Rick James tape. And
good God.
And he came to the ring to Love Gun by Rick James. Which is actually better than what Jim Johnson came up with. But, the Jim Johnson song is catchy and you can dance to it, so whatever. Either way. Hey, we haven't done this in a little while, man, so bringing it back. This week in ECW.
If I may have another volley.
Yeah. And hey, for once, it's not a laundry list of injuries that I'm going to report on here, but here we go.
Oh, I'm sure someone offended somebody somehow, though. Or...
Oh, well, yeah. And like I said, there are other stories that I left out here because we covered them on the Halloween Havoc 96 podcast, so go check that out. Chris Gandito debuted in ECW this week and was over huge. Huge.
No gimmick needed.
Yeah. Sunny was backstage, and Gandito led the crowd in chants for Sunny, but of course she didn't come out because she's still under WWF contract. The crowd also chanted, "Skip is dead." Afterwards, Gandito cut a promo trashing the WWF, and then turned heel on the crowd and started trashing ECW. On the same show, another guy named David Morton debuted, and he was impressive enough that Paul Heyman wants to bring him back full time. David Morton is Kid Cash. So there you go.
Well, now that's going to work.
Yeah, well, how many places can he get fired from? Let's see. This was before Austin Aries.
I think literally everything except for AEW. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Did he ever go to WCW? I don't remember.
Maybe.
Okay, I think that's the one that he missed out on. It's like, damn.
Could have got fired from there too, damn.
Yeah, right. Add it to the list. At the same show, there was also a scaffold match between Tommy Dreamer and primetime Brian Lee.
Oh, God.
With tables piled up underneath. Brian Lee ended up taking the bump off the scaffold and through the tables. There were no serious injuries to report on, thank God. But good
Apparently
grief.
he came within like a half an inch of hitting the rope and maybe freaking breaking his own neck or something.
This one?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah, if anybody goes back to the, we plugged this show enough, but we haven't done it. I feel like we haven't plugged this show in like a week or two. If anybody goes back to the XPW episode of Dark Side of the Ring, that is where they had the scaffold match between Vic Grimes and New Jack. New Jack tased Grimes and then dumped his ass off of the scaffold. And they said if he hadn't hit the ropes and bounced back into the ring, he would have crashed straight to the concrete and probably died. New Jack said he was aiming to throw him onto the ring post and kill him. Like, he had fully admits this, or admitted, he passed away, obviously, but hot damn.
Apparently that just came back, XPW.
Oh, yeah. Was it you telling me about that, or somebody else I was talking to?
I doubt it was me, because I only just found out.
Okay. So I can't remember who it was I was talking to, and they said it's coming back, and I'm like, with the porn?
No.
And they're like, I guess so. It's still run by Rob Black, and I'm like, he's out of prison?
Is it really?
Yes, Rob Black's bringing it back.
Watch your thumbs.
Yeah, good Lord.
Too soon?
I had heard that story about the Messiah like years ago, like right after it happened, and I was like, whoa, that's nuts. But I really didn't have any context because I'm like, what the hell is XPW? Who the hell is the Messiah? But I had a friend who followed deathmatch garbage and told me about it sometimes. That's the way I found out. Speaking of New Jack, though, at another ECW show,
you just transferred some garbage to New Jack. Just want to point that out.
Oh well, yeah, that was totally unintentional, by the way. New Jack got into an altercation with some police officers, stop me if you heard this one before, who were working security at the show. So at some point, New Jack hopped the barricade and ended up with one of the cops throwing punches at each other, and a lot of fans getting involved in a mini riot breaking out until several other ECW wrestlers ran out to break things up. Afterwards, New Jack collapsed and was treated by paramedics. No word on if he was arrested, although you would assume so.
I bet my right eye.
Yeah. Mother of God. New Jack started a riot by beating up police officers.
I feel like he was proud of this stuff.
Yeah, if anybody watches his Dark Side of the Ring episode, he brags about this crap. Like, oh yeah, I did it. Like, gosh. Anyway, there's no good transition after that. So I think we're going to take our next break. Real quick, if anybody goes to our YouTube channel, we have a new feature on there. Jacob Grandi, who's been a guest on the show before, he is now officially on our YouTube channel. He's got his Curtain Jerkin show up there because the former home of the show is now gone. So he is now joining the family.
Gone forever, bro.
It is. It's gone forever, bro, and he's joining the family. And so you can check out Curtain Jerkin on there. Drops every week. And see, he covers current stuff, and he gives predictions on current stuff. We are completely retro on this podcast. So
yeah, we don't give predictions. We give spoilers.
Yeah. Wow. I like what you did there coming out of WCW.
Thank you.
But yeah, so if you want your fix of current stuff, he covers wrestling and UFC, so go check that out. New Japan, AEW, WWE, all of it. He covers all of it, so go check that out. And if you want your retro fix, well, we're the podcast for you, so subscribe. And go subscribe to our YouTube channel where you get a little bit of both. But we're going to take our next break. When we come back, it's Raw from November 4th of 96.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we are back.
We're back.
We are going to dive into WWF Raw from November 4th, 1996. The venue was the War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Then I don't know the attendance numbers. They are not published. But the TV rating was a 2.3, which today would have everybody doing cartwheels. But back then, it was okay. But this one I found out, this was actually recorded like a week before this. So they record like 3 episodes of Raw back to back to back. And this one was like the second show in like a 3-hour. Back then it was considered a marathon. Now it's just a normal Monday. But we opened the show with what happened last week, where Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing a sit down with Bret Hart, who was live via satellite. Stone Cold gets cut off and starts beating up production people until the cops were called to calm him down. Now, Kevin Kelly is standing outside of Brian Pillman's home, quote, in suburban Cincinnati. They are in Walton, Kentucky. I used to live down there. I couldn't pick out Walton on a map if you held a gun to my head, so I don't know.
Kentucky.
Yeah. But he's there just in case Stone Cold shows up tonight. He lets us know that the Pillmans sent their kids to their grandparents' house for the night, so they're all alone. This first
Little
match
Brian?
Yeah. Oh man, I love Little Brian.
What the hell?
All right. Anyway.
You got problems, dude.
What?
Nothing. No.
All right. The first match of the night is Goldust, and in his corner are but in his corner are Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Crush, Marlena, Clarence Mason, and Mr. Perfect. And he is taking on the Stalker and his epic effing mustache. In his corner are Mark Merrow, Mark Henry, and Rocky Maivia. This one went about 5.5 minutes. As soon as this one kicks off, Doc Hendricks interrupts in a split screen with Stone Cold Steve Austin on a car phone. You remember those?
I do.
Yeah. I used to think people were rich that had those things, and usually you were rich if you had those things. But he's heading
confused by the wire coming out of it.
Yeah. He is headed to Brian Pillman's house from the Cincinnati Airport, which, oddly enough, is also in Kentucky. Austin said that no one's going to stop him tonight, and Pillman started this by taking his interview time to, quote, worship Bret Hart. He said that he's got a new verse from the Book of Austin, Austin 45:17, I will strike down upon your ass with great vengeance and furious anger. McMahon warns Austin that Pillman has, quote, a welcoming party waiting, and Austin said that he's got a 6-pack of whoop-ass riding shotgun. Jerry Lawler then brings up Pillman claiming to have a gun, and Austin said that he'll do whatever it takes to get his hands on Brian Pillman. Back to the match that clearly nobody gives a damn about. When Goldust gets
Speak
tossed
for yourself.
Yeah. When Goldust gets tossed out of the ring at one point, the babyface is tossing back in. We now go to commercial break, because if there's one thing this match needs, it's a commercial break in the middle of it.
Got a 2-segment, folks.
Yeah. But we come back to a black and white promo of Steve Austin in the middle of a match, or in the middle of a warehouse. That's what I'm trying to think of. I can't word today. But he's going off on Bret Hart, saying that Shawn Michaels beat his ass back to Canada. Back to the match now. It gets thrown out when everyone starts brawling with each other. 1.5. What say you?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't rate any of these matches.
That's right. I forgot. You don't really.
They all suck. I mean,
they do.
They all suck, but they're all really short too. I'll find any reason to.
Yeah, right. Well, after the match, the Stalker gets beat up by Goldust and Crush as Mark Henry backs Jerry Lawler up the aisle and to the back. The babyfaces then fight back, and King tries to get his team to hightail it, which they eventually do. We now flip to Doc Hendricks running down what we'll see at the Survivor Series 1996, now in the archives, by the way. He then throws it to a video of him interviewing Mankind, Paul Bearer, and the Executioner. Mankind says that he buried The Undertaker alive. Just then, a gong sounds, lightning crashes, and the lights flicker as what looks like a big box cloaked in black lowers from the ceiling.
Undertaker's about to be over.
Wow, good lord. Undertaker's voice booms over the loudspeakers, saying that the reports of his demise were greatly exaggerated. And at Survivor Series, it's a preview. This is a preview of what he has in store for Paul Bearer. The Executioner rips the black cloth off of the box to reveal that it's actually a shark cage with a Paul Bearer dummy hanging upside down in it. And when they showed the dummy, it's got like a big round head that looks like they just took a volleyball and put a wig on it.
It's Wilson.
Wilson! Doc Hendricks sends it now to Kevin Kelly, sitting with Brian and Melanie Pillman. Kelly asks what the doctors have told him about his ankle. Pillman said that he's looking good for 1997, but Austin crossed lines by attacking his injured ankle and made this personal. Vince McMahon butts in and says that they've heard that Steve Austin is circling the neighborhood and asks if Pillman feels like he's a hostage in his own home. Pillman laughs and says that Steve Austin is a dead man walking because, quote, when Austin 316 meets Pillman 9mm Glock, I'm going to blast his sorry ass straight to hell. Then he pulls up the gun and cocks it, and Kevin Kelly about craps his pants.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, that was the best. His acting was like so over the top. it was like a South Park thing. It was like, oh God, it's happening again. After the commercial break, we see an extended WWF promo for Karate Fighters, which I had as a kid, by the way.
I had like 7 of them, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had them all.
I only had 2. I had the one in like the tiger stripe ninja outfit, and then the one with the the green flat top. Anyway,
I really don't remember which one was my favorite, but I know it was like a red gi.
Oh, yeah. We now see footage of Steve Austin outside of Brian Pillman's house beating up Pillman's, quote, friends, who were actually trainees from a local wrestling school. Austin tries to drown one of the guys in a kiddie pool. Then he shuts the other one's head in the door of his SUV. He's not getting his deposit back on that rental, by the way. Austin then walks around the big house telling Brian that he knows that he's in there. After a while, we go back to the ring to see the Pug. That's right. This next match is clearly the father of Charlie Haas, the Pug, taking on the Sultan, who has Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik in his corner. This one went about 2 minutes. I feel like 3 different people use that same Arabian music that the Sultan is coming out to.
I can think of the Sultan, Iron Sheik at one point, Tiger Ali Singh.
Yeah. There's gotta. I feel like there's somebody we're missing, but somebody hit us up. Wow. Anyway, Bob Backlund.
I like they always use the same Japanese theme for all the Japanese guys. Like it was the Orient Express's theme.
Yeah, right. That's just like this is a song for anybody from this region of the world.
It works.
Okay.
We own it. We got to pay royalties. Use it.
Right. Bob Backlund grabs a mic and he goes nuts in the ring, screaming something loony about how the Sultan is going to bring the WWF into the 21st century. Sure.
He was yelling at all the plebeians.
Yeah. I just like how he just hops up on the apron with a mic and just starts going nuts, like, the Sultan! Like, what the F is wrong with you, dude? Decaf.
It's the Arabian guy, but he's the Samoan guy who's an American.
Yeah, right. I feel like a certain other Samoan got famous off of playing a different nationality. I'll admit.
We like you, pal, but you can't be Samoan. We can't have those.
I guess they flat out told, I don't know about Rikishi. They were trying something different with him here, but they flat out told Yokozuna, like, he was like, we have a ton of Samoans. Let's switch it up. Like, okay. But I'll admit, the Sultan looked.
I think it worked.
Oh, it definitely did. The Sultan looked interesting, and he has a pretty cool entrance, I thought. I could have done without the Iron Sheik laying down the prayer rug and pretending to pray before the match just to get cheap heat, but.
Well, it's either that or he's talking crap about America and spitting on it, whatever.
About the match, the future Rikishi eats Alex Porto up and makes him tap to the stereotypical camel clutch. I give it a dud. So I know you didn't rate it. So any notes about the match, though?
Way too long.
2 minutes is way too long. But after the match, the Sultan throws the Pug out of the ring and he celebrates with the Iron Sheik, who actually does look like a stereotypical Sheik at this point. He's like
a real
suit.
Real sentence, by the way. He threw the Pug out of the ring.
Right. Who's like, that's a good nickname for you, man? Who fears a pug?
There's no box of gimmicks.
I just that's not like a feared dog. It's like you hear Rottweiler or German Shepherd or, what was the, Pit Bull, like a pug. Like
I want to be Teacup Pig.
The hell? It's like,
vicious animals. I thought.
Yeah, right. I was like, so I'm gonna be named after that little dog with a wrinkly face and breathing problems. What the? Anyway.
What time is it? I'm due back in Paris Hilton's handbag here. I gotta go.
What the hell? We now go back to Brian Pillman's house where Kevin Kelly is losing his mind and Pillman's looking around holding his gun. Call the police! Ah! We hear glass breaking. Wow. We hear glass breaking and see Stone Cold Steve Austin breaking a window and a door. He unlocks the door and he storms in while Brian Pillman points the pistol right at him. The feed suddenly gets snowy and cuts out.
I remember being scared crapless, dude. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Is Austin dead? No. At this time, he was an a-hole and a heel, but he was starting to get over.
We're like a couple months away from becoming a huge explosion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, he was starting to, get the crowd behind him by WrestleMania 13. It's like a full-on switch. So, yeah. We now go to Jim Ross standing in the ring, introducing Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels, who comes out with Jose Lothario. Both men get into the ring and stand on either side of a podium like they're going to have a debate. Jim Ross first questions Shawn Michaels on whether or not he forgives Sid for powerbombing him multiple times years ago. Shawn says he forgives Sid, and he actually went to got him out of the loony bin. Sid literally says... Psycho. Right. Well, he says that Sid literally looks at Jim Ross and goes, "That's bull!" And then says, if anyone believes that, they're stupid. And when Sid was asked why he hit Shawn from behind last week, Sid says it was an accident. Shawn says he believes him. All of a sudden, McMahon tries to throw it back to Cincinnati and says, "No, sorry, we don't have it." And then we go back to this. Good Lord. Shawn Michaels tells Sid he beat him once, he'll beat him again. They get into an argument about ability and size. Shawn says, to be the man, you got to beat the man. They destroy the podium, which seemed like it was made out of freaking cardboard. And then they get into a shoving match before Jim Cornette and all of Camp Cornette, which is Vader, Owen Hart, and British Bulldog, come out to interrupt them. Clarence Mason is there, too.
Cornette, though, real quick, that is such a forgotten, underrated stable, man.
Yeah. Well, it's
looking back at it, man, that was an amazing group.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at the people who were in it, I mean, if Vader would have done more, I think it would have got over bigger. But, yeah, it was kind of just like, I don't know, it kind of died shortly after this, if I remember correctly. When we reviewed the show, where was it that Clarence Mason got Cornette to sign over the rights to Bulldog and Owen?
Wait, what'd you say? Who was it?
Remember when Cornette got knocked out by Jose Lothario earlier in the night, and Clarence Mason got him to, like, when he was incapacitated, he got him to sign over Bulldog and Owen's contracts. I can't remember what we reviewed it. I can't remember what show it was now off the top of my head, but yeah, now in the archives, one of them. But Cornette shouts him down as Camp Cornette members slide in and gets beat up. But Owen takes out Sid with a chair to the back. However, Shawn takes a chair from him, and Sid thinks that Shawn hit him with the chair. They argue until Camp Cornette gets back in and gets beat up again. Referees and road agents get into the ring now and hold Shawn and Sid back from brawling. So that's the end of that one. Now we go to a commercial and come back to a commercial for WWF Full Metal, the album, right before showing replays of what happened at Brian Pillman's house earlier tonight.
Oh, God.
Did you have did you have Full Metal, the album?
I did, yeah. Well, it wasn't a CD, it was a tape. Whenever I hear album, I think CD, I don't know why. But, yeah.
Yeah, I had it on cassette tape as well. So, I don't know. I had all of them back in the day. We're about to dive into our main event here, so we're going to take our second to last break. When we come back, it's main event time. Don't forget to follow us on social media at @mainevent_marks on Twitter and Instagram, and also at Main Event Collector on Instagram. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Got the same mother and father.
Your room was...
Oh, we shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we are back.
And we're back.
It's Wildman Mark Mero with Sable in his corner, taking on Razor Ramon with Diesel in his corner. And I'll get to that in a minute. It went 7 minutes, 44 seconds.
Best match of the night right here, folks.
Yeah, that's a crowded field, too. But this is obviously Rick Bogner and Glenn Jacobs playing Razor and Diesel, respectively. It's not, because we just talked about the NWO over on the other channel, so there you go. During the fake Razor's entrance, you could hear a mouse pissing on cotton. My first note of this match, this is the main event?
Yeah?
Yikes.
It's one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time right there.
Miro?
No, Razor Ramon.
Oh, come on. I'd pick Miro over this guy. Anyway, good Lord, this whole thing sucked.
He sucks.
During the match, we get Kerwin Selfies via phone calling in to say that everything in production went dead and no one has been leaving or entering the house. Kerwin said that he heard something that sounded like a couple of explosions. Okay, but he's not sure if they were gunshots. About the production, Kerwin says that the crew is too afraid to get out of the truck and work on the equipment, but they're going to see what they can do. Back to the match.
Oh, guy in the house has a gun. And we're just sticking around. Oh, we might be able to film some more.
Yeah, right. We think we heard gunshots.
It's like one of the only notes I wrote for this whole part. Like, why are you still there if you think you heard that? Get the hell out of there.
Because Vince is in his ear like, film it, damn it. Get us back online.
Oh, man.
Back to the match. This is literally just arm drag after arm drag for like 7 minutes. I was like, is that like all the moves in your arsenal?
Drag. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Arm drag. What's he going to do next? Full arm drag and twist. Tony Schiavone's famous call. To this day, I don't think he will tell us if it's full arm drag and twist or full arm drag and twist.
All I know is it happened on one of the greatest nights in the history of our sport. I know that.
Well, of course it did. Anyway, and the tape machines are still rolling. But I think I hit them all.
Still love that guy.
Right. Kerwin's back on the phone later to say that only one guy is working on the equipment. Yeah, he's the sacrificial lamb. Get out there and work on it. If you get shot, whatever. Wait, you took out the life insurance, right? You'll be fine. Get out there. But no one knows what's going on. And then he starts yelling, "Hey!" at someone before hanging up. On commentary, good Lord, Jim Ross is putting 100% of the blame on Vince McMahon. He's going hard on Vince. He's like, this is your fault. You sent him out there. You feel good about yourself, huh? And he's like, well, what the blame has to be put somewhere or whatever. And he's like, on you. Like, it's your company, isn't it? This was great. Like, you could tell Jim Ross was like, he said he hated being a heel because, like, nobody bought it and the whole thing was kind of stupid. You could tell he was having fun with this because he could say whatever the hell he wanted. But anyway, getting back to this, Mr. Perfect and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, both in suits, walked the ring during this match that just won't freaking end. I laughed my ass off, by the way, for an advertisement for the Big Bang Boom tour. Did you see that advertisement? Like, Doc Hendricks is advertising it. Like, we get a commercial break. He's like, the Big Bang Boom tour could be coming to a town near you. And I'm like, who named this?
Probably him.
Yeah. And in the end, Helmsley shoves Marrow off the top rope behind the referee's back, and Razor pins Marrow after a razor's edge. Nobody gave a damn, and I gave it a star. But we've established a satellite feed back at Brian Pillman's house, where a bunch of dudes with mullets are holding Pillman back, trying to calm them down. Kevin Kelly says, no one has been shot. Nobody's been struck by any of the explosions. Any explosions? What? I
don't think they know what an explosion is.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think that word means what you think it means. But all right. But Austin's back now. The men all rush in and hold him back and get him out of the house. Pillman shouts, let him go. That son of a bitch has this coming. He keeps going with it. He's like, I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. Let him go. And then Kevin Kelly shouts for someone to call the police. He's losing his mind again. Call the police! Call the police!
Oh, God. Sorry, I can't get over it.
Yeah. Oh, God, call the police! As Pillman ends the show shouting,
look, I'm sure a guy can do a lot of things, but you got to pick up a phone and dial a cop, dude.
Yeah, right. Pillman literally ends the show by shouting, you don't know who you're f***ing with. Oh, man. Melanie is crying wildly in the back, by the way, as King is yelling at Kevin Kelly and telling him, grab the gun. Yeah, because that would be smart. As a guy's waving a gun around, yeah, Kevin, grab it.
Oh, my God.
That's gun safety 101, man. Just, God dang it, grab the gun, Kevin. He's waving it around.
Your damn breakdown of it makes it worse.
This whole thing was just like, what the hell, man? I don't think anybody knew what any of this stuff was. We're going to take our final break, man. When we come back, final ratings time. We'll tell you what's coming up on the podcast in the future.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
And if you weren't entertained by that, I don't know what to tell you. Internet Movie Database gave the show 6.7 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 6.38 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10 for an F. What say you?
If we're talking about a wrestling show, I'm going to give it an F. But if we're talking about like a show, I mean, this is like a B+. I mean, it was enjoyable for the most part.
It was all right.
I feel like the wrestling was just an added thing for the night. Everything else was. So, I mean.
Clearly.
Yeah, I have to go off what its intention was, and I think it did exactly what it was intended to do. So, yeah. I'm going to give it a high rating for that.
This got their ass torn apart by the USA Network, by the way. And, yeah, it depends on who you want to believe. WWE claims we told them everything we were going to do. They knew well in advance, and so they were just trying to save face, which I can definitely believe. I can also believe the USA Network's take, where they said, well, they gave us a vague idea of what they were going to do, but we had no idea that they were going to go like this extreme with it, and we had no idea that Pillman was going to drop that F-bomb at the end of the night.
Guarantee you they weren't crying when the ratings came in.
Again, the ratings weren't, for that time, the ratings weren't fantastic, but, and they lost
we don't know what they were looking for, though, so maybe they were.
Right. I believe this year they were starting to make money again, because in 95, I think they lost quite a bit. In 96, they were still kind of losing some. According to Bruce Pritchard, by like 97, 98, they didn't really give a damn what the ratings were, because they had been making money for a while at that point. And they were like, whatever, our ratings are fine, and even if we're not beating Nitro, we're making money. And that's really all it comes down to, is you're in the...
Like nowadays.
Yeah, it's like you're in the black. That's what my argument about the ratings now. It's like, I don't care if Dynamite or Rampage beats anything in the ratings. Is AEW bringing in money? Are they in the black? Then who gives a crap about ratings? Same with WWE. Are they in the black? But whatever. Can't tell people certain things, man. Either way, that does it for that one. Well, we dropped, in my opinion, a pretty good show on you earlier this week with Survivor Series 1998. And this
you're
one,
not biased.
Oh, well, of course not. But this one, I thought it was entertaining. I was like, it was funny. So if you guys want to go back and watch it, it's only an hour. Raw hadn't.
No, I think it's an hour. I think it's like 48 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, well, you gotta work in for commercials and all that, of course. But yeah, so it wasn't a full hour, but all in all, it was not bad. If you're watching it just like you said for the story, which isn't that kind of the story of both shows we covered this week? Because Survivor Series 98 was heavy on story.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was heavy on story, light on wrestling quality.
Bro, who cares about wrestling, bro?
Can we jam 40 matches into a 2-hour period, bro? Because I want to do it.
Bro, we only have one new champion, though, bro.
Yeah. Well, bro, all the belts got to switch in the night. Actually, we had 2 new champions, because you remember the women's titles changed hands that night.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's remembering that fondly, but it did happen. The next week, man, we are closing out the month. It is the day before Thanksgiving, where we're all going to cut into the bird. But while we are, enjoy our take on WCW Mayhem 2000. That is dropping
because
on
we
November
hate
24th.
you, apparently.
Yes. Well, here's my thing. We cover some shows like this one, like Mayhem 2000, because it's like, look, we watch it, so you don't have to. You can listen to us talk about it and tell you why you should or shouldn't watch it, and if it's garbage or not. And if it's garbage, we'll make fun of it. And trust me, there's I have a feeling we're going to be laughing our asses off next week, because there's a lot.
Well, I laughed my ass off
Yikes.
watching it, so yeah.
I laughed and cried. Like, I went back and forth. I
I
laughed.
cried, bro.
I cried. I laughed. I cried from laughing. It was a whole gambit of emotions.
I didn't even know what a bad wrestling show was, bro, and then I'll watch this.
Oh, I was going to say, Russo 1,000% knows what a bad wrestling show is. If he doesn't, then he's not watching his own product. But anyway, so that does it for November. December, I'm very excited for, man. We're not going to tell you what the bonus show is just yet, but we will get to that. First, we're opening up the month. We're going back to 1993 for WCW Starrcade 1993. On December 8th, it's Vengeance 2001 for its 20-year anniversary. That's one where Chris Jericho became the first ever undisputed champion. He beat Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. Yeah, I mean, which he never talks about, Greg. So, we got to publicize that. Yeah, he never mentions it. We're actually going fairly recent for December 15th. We're going with WWE TLC 2016 for its 5-year anniversary. It's a good show that I'm very much looking forward to. AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose are on top for that one. December 22nd, we got some TNA. It's our final TNA show of the year. It's TNA Final Resolution 2011 for its 10-year anniversary. And like I said, we're not going to spoil the bonus show just yet. Something special we're still working on. But December 29th, 2 days before the end of the year, it is WCW Starrcade 1998. That one you could, like, it's almost like at the end of the main event, you could hear just like a long, wet fart to sound off the end of WCW. I mean, and this was followed up by a finger poke of doom.
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
Yeah, man, because they couldn't just let crap lie. It's like, how can we make this? Well, like, what was the booking meaning like? It's like, look, guys, that was bad. Like that really sucked. But, and hear me out, how can we make it worse?
You can always make it worse.
Yep. Give Kevin Nash the book. Anyway. But yeah, so that's our December. Looking forward to it. Thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you all next week with Mayhem 2000. We apologize in advance.